Well, our first guest on the Rock the Curly W podcast is none other than Kol Shuler. Kol, we've wanted to get you on since we started this podcast. I think your experience under playing for Coach Purdham is a big key for us in getting you on, as well as you now going on to coach your own squad and JV basketball there in Richmond. So, first of all, glad to have you on. How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. I will say I've been very busy, considering teaching virtually, um, basketball, and then luckily I have a day off tomorrow.
Okay.
So I don't have to super stress out today, so I'll leave that for my Monday, right? Make Monday a bad day, but I'm doing good.
Now, do you control your days off? Can you just say, all right, we're not practicing tomorrow?
Well, we were supposed to have a game tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know. I know our varsity's been going through some quarantine stuff here lately, so they've had some stuff canceled. So game was canceled, practice was canceled because tomorrow's MLK Day too. So I don't know if school just realized they forgot it was a holiday as well. So they just went ahead and canceled everything. So like I'm so open and free tomorrow. So I'm sure I'll do nothing today, watch football, and then procrastinate and do all my stuff tomorrow, like
Sure.
usual.
Marsh, go ahead.
First thing we want to do is want to congratulate you on your engagement.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
That also makes you a busy man.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I mean, at least I'm doing some of the plan. I don't do much of it, you know. If she wants it, it's what's going to happen.
How stressed has she been trying to plan a wedding during a pandemic?
I'd say we got a lot of pretty much everything planned out, but when we first
That's
started
good.
planning, it was like just realizing all the stuff you had to do, and it was overwhelming. And then eventually, you're just like, I mean, personally, me, like when it happened and it's over with, I'm like, done with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a great day, but it's just, it is a lot to plan. Didn't really, and it's another step in life. So I'm like officially like growing up, trying to find a house for the summer. So
For sure. All right. Well, now, like we said, your playing days at Page County High, I'll call you a defensive specialist, but a lot of times that gives a negative connotation to your offense. You could score a little bit too, but you were definitely a defensive specialist under Purdham. And now you're a history teacher at James River. So when did you know you wanted to become a history teacher?
honestly, man, like just like a lot of kids in high school, you know, growing up, you want to go to that next level and play sports. And I mean, I think I had a shot. I don't think I put as much work into it as I probably should have. But you know, I went to community college because I didn't know what to do, and I was like, you know, I'll just do something with business. And then I'm like, dude, like it was just so boring to me. I was just like, I have no clue what I would do with business. Like maybe go start my own business or something like that. But that was just like, let me just find a way to like help people in some way and make an impact. So I was like, let's try teaching. Now,
There you go.
when I told my parents I want to be a teacher, they're like, you don't like talking in front of people. You don't like, you know, standing in front of people. I was like, yeah, I know, but this is something I could probably see myself doing. And history just, I mean, I'm learning. I'm not like a historian, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're not no
as I'm
guru.
I'm learning all the time as well. So it's just seeing how the past has impacted the future is a real reason why I wanted to teach history.
That's a good deal, man. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Marsh.
All right. So now coaching JV basketball. Just talk us through that interview process and how that was like.
Well, I mean, coming out of college, I mean, you guys graduate, you're like ready to get a job, right? So I'm sending out all these emails like, hey, like, blah, 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 I want to coach this. I was even like sending my resume out to like coach baseball, coach football. Obviously, I want to coach basketball because, like, be strictly honest with you guys, like, I'm inside when I'm practicing basketball, so I ain't got to worry about cold weather. I ain't got to worry about super long days like you will with football. Like football seems like it'd be so draining, but um, eventually, you know, I reached out to this James River. You know, the coach was like willing to like, you know, give me an interview, see what it's like, put me on the team. But obviously, I wanted to coach somewhere where I could actually have a teaching job as well. But obviously, there's no spots open. There's no open spots for a history teacher. Then like 2 days after they told me there's no open spots, they're like, hey, like we actually have an open spot now. Like, do you want to interview? I was like, yeah. I was literally pulling into a job interview in Chesterfield. and I got a call as soon as I pulled in. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here for like 5 minutes. I'll just leave because I was like so pumped just to have an interview. And once I got the job, I just told the basketball coach, varsity coach, who's awesome. I was like, hey, like, I'm trying to coach. And he's like, well, you want to be the JV head coach? And I was like a head coach already?
Yeah, throwing you right into the fire, man.
I was like,
right into
whatever, dude. Throw it at me first year teaching. I'll do it. Whatever I have to do.
So how much have you kind of leaned on maybe Coach Purdham, or I don't know if you speak with Coach Rodriguez here at Page County very much, but how much have you leaned on, maybe his expertise, his guidance?
Yeah, I haven't really got to know Coach Rodriguez. Be willing to reach out to him here possibly just to learn a little bit more from him. I know he's probably more experienced, definitely more experienced, because I think he took over a couple years after we graduated.
Yeah.
But yeah, Coach Purdham, I tried to be in contact with Coach Purdham, but I know can be a busy man. I'm super busy. So here and there I try to reach out to him, but when it comes to, lean on him and stuff like that, I think it's just, yeah, he was a basketball coach, and, always every coach wants to win, but I think it was more about what stuck out to me as wanting to be a coach is when he not only pushed you to be a better player, but like as a better person, as a better, individual when it came to like just being a student. Nowadays kids are so wrapped up into social media and, thinking all the stuff they can do after the future, but they're not really like focused on what they're actually doing like within the present. So his mentality, man, how harsh Coach Purdham, how hard he could be on you, and there's times when you're like, dude, man, like this is ridiculous. This is insane. Like, why is he doing this? But then the next day, and then looking back on it, you're just like, if I didn't have a coach push me like that, and
For sure.
and like make me work my hardest, and like, what are you really coaching for,
Yeah.
Not like,
Well, I can remember for sure, but personally, I remember I wasn't even on the varsity squad. Like I stopped after JV, and a lot of people like made up a fake story that the reason that I didn't go on to varsity basketball is because I didn't like Coach Purdham, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I loved Mike and enjoyed the time that I did spend with the varsity there. I think that was my sophomore year. I came up for a little while, and he tried to maybe keep me there, but I told him I'd rather play JV, and then didn't end up going in. Anyway, I remember turning a ball over against Riverheads at home one night, and Purdham would always sit right behind our bench, and I'm at the wing, and I'm passing to the top of the key, and a dude picks it, right? Takes it the length of the court. And the dude already had a full head of steam as he had picked the ball off. So I was like, well, I'm going to just kind of courtesy jog it back. And it was close to the end of the first half. And so we're getting beat, I'm pretty sure. And we go in and we sit down, and usually Tony Weekly, who was the head coach of the JV time, would come in first. And we weren't that good that year, so we would get a chewing from him. But it was Coach Purdham who must have been right on my tail. I had just sat down, and he got about that far, about 6 inches from my face, and was lighting into me, just absolutely getting after me. I think a little bit of spit might have dripped off a little bit. I could smell what he had for breakfast that day. But like you said, man, while he was, up in your face, sometimes he was hard on you. He definitely wanted to get the best out of you. And looking back, I mean, I have the utmost respect for him. And I think what you mentioned is head on there, Cole.
Yeah. I mean, just real quick, we move on, but it's just now I look back and I can see why he lost his temper and maybe his patience sometimes during like practices or games, because I'm the same way now. It's so hard to like mentally just be like, you run all these plays like constantly, and then in the game when it happens, they run it wrong. And then you're just like sitting there like so frustrated. Like I get very mad, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's times I get really heated, but yeah, Coach P is awesome. I guess it's kind of interesting. We can call him Mike now since we're older, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that. I'm kind of scared that he's going to listen to this and like, I don't know, come to my apartment. He's going to be right over my shoulder here. But
yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah. What is your best Purdham story?
Oh man, I mean, this one, it sticks out like all the time because I think I've told it so many times, and I
think I know where it's going.
There's obviously a ton of stories, but The one that sticks out to me is just like I'm gonna give you two quick ones. Two quick.
Yeah, you're good.
Many might not know about the second one, but the first one, Saturday practice, everybody's just like, oh man, I get up on a Saturday, especially after playing Friday, getting there early, and I don't know if we lost the night before or we just didn't play good. We won. I don't know.
Especially in Page County too, man. You got all those hunters in there that want to go hunting on Saturday mornings. Yeah.
And I know we get in there Saturday morning, we stretch, and like we do our first drill. I guess we were just like not doing well or slacking. Dude, he literally like said, pass me the ball. We passed him the ball. I think we started running, and even 30 seconds into running, he literally I don't know what happened. He took the ball, he punted it, he went across the gym, and he said, "Get out!" It's over. I was just like, "Yo, we've only been here for 10 minutes," and in my mind, I was like, "Dang, what do we do wrong?" But then again, I was just like, "It's Saturday morning. I'm tired. I'll go home. I'll go right home. Whatever." But another one is down in the old gym, middle school, what used to be high school since we were in high school in 8th grade. I think I remember obviously I'm on JV, but obviously we're listening to Coach Purdham on varsity. You guys remember I was actually talking about this with Mercy the other day, him and Elliot. The P that was on the Pacer P.
Yeah, the Pacer P.
I remember he said, "Y'all see that P up there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Y'all know what that stands for?" And we were all like, "Yeah, Page or Panthers." He said, "No, that stands for Purdham." I was just like, dang, man. I was like, it just you think about it, I was like, man, he had a little, he was tough, and that was just a funny story. I remember those two things, but again, there's tons of them. Maybe some I can't really share,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Keep that locked into my head, into my mind forever. But yeah, definitely some great times, definitely some funny times,
You went a totally different direction of where I thought you were going, because the one that always sticks out to me is the mouthpiece story. I think that was at Wilson.
No. It was at Eastern Mennonite.
Okay.
Tournament.
Okay.
You're totally right. I totally forgot about that. He was. Yeah.
So what happened there? It came down on a 2-on-1, and instead of going for
anybody listening, a lot of people will tease me about this too. I mean, I wore a mouthpiece because I've knocked my front tooth out twice, and I don't know what happened. It was I must have been an inbound or a rebound, and my mouthpiece popped out, and the ball was right there. And of course, I was a scrappy player, so I would usually either go for it or dive on it. And I looked at the ball, then I looked at my mouthpiece, and I was like, I'm gonna get my mouthpiece. And and they got the ball and scored, and came right out of the game. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, Coach, lost my mouthpiece. And of course, chewed me out. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Split second, I didn't know what I was thinking about. But yeah, I know Rob Comer. I know he remembers that one for sure. I think we were playing.
Yeah.
Definitely, what you guys have said, since I went to Luray, I got to play against Purdham. You guys, what you said is all right. Most respect for the man. And I've seen stories while playing him that I have that are just crazy. My junior year, there was a foul called, and he got upset with the official, and he scoots his chair up onto the floor, sits in it, and stares at the ref, just chirping at him. And I'm sitting back on a free throw going, oh my.
Well, the best part about that is the reason that we don't tell that story is because we've seen that exact movement, that exact thing every time that Purdham got teed up. Because the rule is, I guess, or it was at least at that point, that if you got teed up, that you had to sit down, right? Yeah. And so Purdham would sit down, but he would pull his chair right up to the edge.
I always remember too, real quick, Purdham always had the blue lollipops for the game. He always had a blue lollipop. For some reason just stood out to my mind right now. But yeah, that was a thing he always had. Kind of interesting.
All right, so back to you, man. We've talked a lot about Purdham. How would you describe, your coaching style? Is it a little bit of a mixture of what you had in high school and a little bit more lenient? What you got?
I would say at points, I'm definitely lenient because, especially this year, there's a lot of kids who actually on a team that, I cut last year. And let me tell you, cutting is one of the hardest things I've ever done, especially first year coaching when I had 60 kids try out. I'm like, gee, this is crazy. Ooh. But, I mean, I'm tough, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm very tough. And it might be because the new varsity coach and my experience with Purdham, but like we take our program very seriously. Not only with, paying attention in practice, because I mean, those who are not starting, it's important that you're paying attention to the game, because when you come in, you don't want to make the same mistakes and stuff like that. But no, I can definitely see myself a little bit persuaded by how Purdham coached a little bit. But I definitely think I've molded my own character as well. And again, it's tough, man. I'm definitely tough. I don't let people slack off, especially when it comes to school. School is definitely first, especially since I'm a teacher in the building at James River. But I mean, they love me though. I mean, the kids, if I'm not going to sit there and give it all they got in practice, like, again, like what's the point of going out and coaching if you're not trying to not only win, but making these guys better and getting them ready for the varsity level? Because that's basically, JV, you're not really, it's awesome to go undefeated and have a winning record, but ultimately you're trying to prepare them for the next level in order for the varsity coach to be ready to, take on the reins of them as well.
Yeah, I had one question real quick. What's the difference? Like, I know during these times, like, you can only have 25 people in the gym. How weird is that? Like, I just can't imagine playing in a gym with 25 people and hearing like a pin drop in there.
Yeah, is it hard to get the players up to,
I mean, one, it's obviously everybody can hear what I'm saying, which sometimes can be good and sometimes can't be good, depending on what I'm saying and yelling. But JV, obviously it's not as many fans as you would think it would be. But it's just having some fans, it just brings back a little bit of being a little bit normal. I mean, because what have we been going through in the last year? It's crazy to think that COVID's been lasting so long, but just to have like some fans, it's hard to pump them up. I will say it's hard to like have that energy to go out there and that's the main thing with JV this year. Is just like, sometimes you have 25 people. When you play away games, you don't have any fans like from your team watching you. You have to watch the stream and stuff like that. So it's hard to pump them up. It's hard to get that energy, but I do my best when it comes to just saying like, look, like, my team is, I'm not trying to brag, but my team is very, very good. They're very talented. And it's, my expectation is very high for them when it comes to like finishing very strong this season. And again, not having many fans, it is effective in a way where, again, it doesn't pump them up. It doesn't really get them a little bit motivated, but you've got to, can't worry about that stuff. It's once you step across, into the court, your sole focus should just be on, the people you're playing and your teammates as well. So.
Well, and you're in an interesting situation too, because I was actually surprised. I think I saw you tweet out or something like that you guys had a game. But I had heard like a week or two prior to that Richmond schools had shut down their basketball operations. They were not going to do basketball this year. And, a lot of people in this area are like, oh man, that's a great opportunity to win a state championship, because Richmond is a hotbed for basketball state champions. And, but you told me the other day that you're in Chesterfield County, which is the only county in Richmond that is playing. What was that like kind of leading up to the season, not knowing if you're actually going to play it, or did Chesterfield come out right off the get-go and say, no, whatever other Richmond schools do, doesn't matter, we're playing? How was that?
I think it was more of a like, play it by ear, keeping track of the numbers of COVID and stuff like that. Because obviously the health of, every individual is very important. And these schools, these districts, Richmond City, Hanover, Henrico, I think all of them have some persuasion towards one another. Like if one school district is doing this, it kind of leads to the other county doing the same thing. But again, sports is like, we're on board with it at Chesterfield because, like you have to take like a lot of extreme precautions and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't really think about the mental health of like, the students and those who are playing sports. Because I know when I was in high school, like you same way, but you same way. Like I played a sport I played 3 sports. I'd practice like every day. Like I breathe sports. And if I was in this situation, I don't know what I'd do. I really don't know what I'd do. I'd probably lose the motivation to go do some of the stuff that I did. So I don't know if that was taken into consideration. I think it was at some point, but just thinking about trying to bring get their life back to normal a little bit, at least make it seem like it's a little bit normal, even though it's still very weird coming into practice, and always have to wiping down balls and wearing masks sometimes when we have to and stuff like that. But we were definitely blessed for the opportunity, especially Chesterfield, to allow not only basketball but all winter sports in Chesterfield to continue on right now.
And Marsh, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Well, Cole, really appreciate you coming on, brother. I think this is a great start to our podcast. Spread it out to your folks in Richmond too. I mean, it would be great for you to grow it there as well as here. I know DC is a hotbed, or excuse me, Richmond's a hotbed for DC sports as well. The football team has their training facility down there, but most importantly, glad to have somebody from Page County, and not only Page County, but the Shenandoah Valley as a whole in here to really discuss, their high school days, now what they've taken that into their coaching days as well. So can't thank you enough for coming on and spending some time on this Sunday when we're getting ready to watch some football.
Man, I appreciate it. I'm glad I got to be a part of it. Whenever you guys are keeping this going, I'll come back on in another time if you need me to.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely listen in, spread the word.
Good.
I guess the last thing to say is, man, like, although I'm still, I moved to Richmond here in Henrico because I live in Henrico, teaching Chesterfield, but the Valley's still home. There's still a lot of great athletes back there. Just because, there's smaller schools down there doesn't mean, that they're not better than, all the other bigger schools around there. We know there's talent around in the Valley, and I know it'll continue to be like that for a long time.
100%. Thank you, man.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you.